This is Wilson Morales from Black Women TV, talking to David Gordon Green. How's it going?
Good. How you doing, Wilson?
Good. The never-ending question you probably have gotten is why do a remake and not a new film? Oh, not a remake, a sequel.
Oh, yeah, sequel. The idea that you could take something that is as internationally renowned as The Exorcist, a title that people around the world literally turn their heads to see what's going on, and then I can take that kind of epic intent and bring a very personal, meaningful to me story. It's just to me, it's a great canvas to be able to make an independent-minded, dramatic story.
And you look back, obviously 50 years ago, when it came out, the first one, it had a big effect. 50 years later, there have been a lot of similar stories. We now know what exorcism is. What was, in terms of the key ingredient to making this a successful film? We don't know yet, but, when in your eyes, what do you think the key ingredient is outside of the fact that it's being labeled as a sequel?
Well, my intent here was to take something, the threads of a brilliant film that I can pay homage to the DNA of the original Friedkin film, and then bring it into a contemporary world where there are multiple faiths in the conversation. It's not just the Catholic perspective, but we're bringing in other spiritual perspectives, other religious perspectives, and even new medical perspectives. And so, I guess a little bit of it is the updating, bringing it to a new audience, a fan base that for a lot of horror movies, I feel like there's a fan base out there that's really desensitized because you can't make a movie with more jump scares or more gross out gags or more creative kills, but you can make something that's dramatically compelling and try to connect with an audience within the genre of horror in a new way.
I actually just saw Leslie last night.
Oh, you saw the play? How is it?
Saw the play. I spoke to him afterwards. He's great in it. Obviously, he can't talk now because he's got, for a couple of reasons.
Yeah.
But what went into him being the lead for this movie?
Well, he'd written a letter when he heard the franchise was being I guess nobody knew, but when the rights came our way and nobody knew what we were cooking up, there was a nice letter from him about his enthusiasm of the original film and wondering if there was a part to play. And so I think the whole time I was writing this, he was in the back of my mind. I'd really enjoyed his work on stage and in the movies he'd done. And so when I finished the script and it kind of did, I felt like reflected something that he might be interested in engaging in, I sent it to him and sat down with him, and we really connected on an approach to this character and trying to find the truth within the difficult circumstances.
And then there's the return of Ellen, who I actually saw not that long ago because she appeared at a premiere for Killers of the Flower Moon. So it's always, obviously great to see these people back in New York. You
Yeah.
know, how was the approach into? And I'm sure people have asked her, and I'm sure before you came on board, they probably wanted her to come back to do something similar. How did you approach her to come back?
I just approached her like a friend. I said, I want to know you and I want you to know who I am. And I've got good intentions with this franchise and I'm not exactly sure where I'm going. And I'm not asking you to say yes or no. But I'm going to get to work and start sculpting ideas and I might reach out to you. So then when we struck up that social relationship and had a few conversations, I would be in many ways taking dictation to some of the things she would be saying. And again, my subconscious goes to work, and I think by the time I had a script that I was excited about sharing with her, it actually reflected a lot of truths from her own philosophies. So mirroring Chris MacNeil's character that I was creating, evolving 50 years later, in a lot of ways mirrored Ellen in her journey 50 years after the success of the original film.
Before I let you go, even with her appearance in it, does one need to go back to the original watches, or can this go on its? Can this stand on its own?
It can stand on its own, and that's the goal. Is that audiences that fans of the original that want to see a continuation, that we've got nostalgia, we've got the nods to the original film throughout our film. But then if you haven't seen it, you're not if you're not versed in who these characters are and where we're coming from. Perhaps you watch our movie and then you reach back in time and watch Friedkin's film, and you get double trouble.
Let's do it in honor of William.
Yeah,
In
exactly.
honor of William. Congrats. We'll talk again because you're always working. Take care.
Right on. Good talking to you. See ya.